Google đã chính thức có động thái cứng rắn với các dịch vụ miễn phí khi chính thức công bố sẽ dừng cung cấp dịch vụ G Suite Legacy. Và động thái này của Google đã khiến các doanh nghiệp điêu đứng vì thói quen sử dụng miễn phí trong nhiều năm liền, cũng như hệ thống dữ liệu đang ổn định nhưng buộc phải trong tình thế chuyển đổi. Những mối quan ngại về chi phí, cách thức migrate dữ liệu, băn khoăn về các nền tảng quản trị mới đã khiến các doanh nghiệp phải đau đầu tìm ra giải pháp chuyển đổi tối ưu nhất. Và chính vì thấu hiểu những thách thức và bất cập mà doanh nghiệp đang phải đối mặt, CloudAZ chính thức công bố tổ chức sự kiện webinar nâng cấp Google Workspace, giải pháp tối ưu khi G Suite Legacy bị khai tử, nhằm chia sẻ về chính sách thay đổi cho phiên bản Legacy và giới thiệu những tính năng nâng cao của Google Workspace, từ đó giúp doanh nghiệp tận dụng vào các tính năng trong công việc vận hành, quản lý một cách tốt nhất. Và thay mặt những người làm chương trình thì Hoài thân xin gửi đến quý anh chị và các bạn lời chào nồng nhiệt. Sự hiện diện của quý vị thực sự là niềm hân hạnh cho CloudAZ chúng tôi, và chúc cho buổi webinar của chúng ta thành công tốt đẹp. Và lời đầu tiên thì ban tổ chức cũng xin trân trọng giới thiệu sự hiện diện của những anh chị khách mời tham dự chương trình. Về phía công ty cổ phần dịch vụ đám mây CloudAZ thì tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu sự có mặt của chị Hoàng Thị Diệu Linh, CEO của CloudAZ. Và đến từ vị trí khách mời của chương trình, người sẽ là diễn giả trực tiếp chia sẻ trong buổi ngày hôm nay. Thương xin giới thiệu sự có mặt của Mr. Marley APAC Territory Manager từ Google, anh Phạm Minh Đạt, Google Workspace Manager tại CloudAZ, và anh Lê Việt Huy, Google Workspace Professional Engineer tại CloudAZ. Và đặc biệt hơn là sự góp mặt của gần 70 người tham gia đến từ đa dạng các ngành nghề, loại hình doanh nghiệp trên khắp mọi miền đã bớt chút thời gian tham dự webinar cùng CloudAZ hôm nay. Vâng, chắc hẳn thì từ đầu chương trình đến giờ thì mọi người cũng rất nóng lòng, không muốn biết những cái thông tin của các diễn giả tầm cỡ của webinar của chúng ta ngày hôm nay rồi, đúng không ạ? Thì Thương xin điểm qua một số nét chính của những thông tin diễn giả của chúng ta ngày hôm nay. Thì diễn giả đầu tiên của chúng ta là Mr. Marley Scopen. Anh Marley thì từng có kinh nghiệm làm việc tại Salesforce và Oracle khu vực châu Âu, và đặc biệt đam mê lĩnh vực chuyển đổi số với công nghệ điện toán đám mây. Bằng kiến thức chuyên môn, anh Marley đã xây dựng hệ sinh thái chiến lược cho các đối tác tại Google và hỗ trợ cho nhiều đối tác phát triển gấp nhiều lần kỳ vọng. Và với kinh nghiệm 5 năm thực tế triển khai Google Workspace, tham gia webinar lần này của CloudAZ thì anh Marley chắc chắn sẽ đem đến nhiều chia sẻ quan trọng giúp các công ty phát triển thông qua việc vận hành với Google Workspace. Và vị diễn giả thứ hai của chúng ta là anh Phạm Minh Đạt. Anh Đạt hiện là chuyên gia Google Workspace và là Google Workspace Manager tại CloudAZ. Anh đã đồng hành và hỗ trợ hàng trăm công ty thuộc nhiều lĩnh vực khác nhau trên hành trình chuyển đổi số, sở hữu nhiều kinh nghiệm thực tế quý giá, cùng các câu chuyện thú vị về việc triển khai hệ thống, ứng dụng công nghệ thông tin vào thực tế công việc. Và vị diễn giả thứ ba của chúng ta ngày hôm nay là anh Lê Việt Huy. Anh là kỹ sư triển khai Google Workspace tại CloudAZ, có chứng chỉ Work Transformation và chứng chỉ Professional Collaboration Engineer. Vâng, thưa quý vị và các bạn, thì có một câu nói vui khi một chàng trai đã tỏ tình với một cô gái rằng gọi em là Google vì em là tất cả những gì anh đang tìm kiếm. Đúng vậy, thì chắc hẳn là trong số chúng ta ở đây thì không một ai là không biết tới Google là một trong những gã khổng lồ của làng công nghệ thế giới với những sản phẩm điện toán đám mây hàng đầu. Trong đó có bộ công cụ cộng tác Google Workspace được mệnh danh là bộ công cụ cộng tác quốc dân. Vậy thì bộ công cụ đó có quá trình phát triển ra sao, chính sách mới như thế nào? Thì ngay sau đây xin mời quý vị và các bạn cùng lắng nghe chính chuyên gia đến từ Google chia sẻ và giới thiệu về Google và sự phát triển của bộ công cụ từ Google Apps for Business đến G Suite đến Google Workspace và những chính sách thay đổi cho phiên bản G Suite Legacy trong năm nay. Xin trân trọng kính mời Mr. Marley. Hi, Marley.
Hello.
Yeah, are you ready to share with everyone here about Google, your company? Audience are really excited to hear the development of Google Workspace versions from Google Apps for Business to G Suite to Google Workspace and the trends policy for G Suite Legacy this year. Marley, please.
Okay, thank you. I'm excited as well. So thank you very much for the good introduction there. So shall I take over the screen so I can present my slides so it's easier to present? Let me just take this over. Yeah. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we see.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, then I'll get started. So thank you very much, and yeah, welcome to our webinar. So my name is Marley. I am the Google Workspace Territory Manager for our Southeast Asia and Australia, New Zealand, and also for the Greater China region. So it's a quite big region that I cover. Hopefully, I can share some of my experiences today about Google Workspace and also answer any of your questions regarding Google Workspace legacy and how we are moving to Google Workspace. I've been with Google for about 4.5 years now. So that is already considered a little bit old in my team, but I don't feel old, so that's okay. So yeah, without further ado, I guess we can get started on the agenda. So what I'll start with today is first I will give you a bit of an overview about Google Workspace. And then we'll go into the development of Google, how Google Apps really went to Google Workspace and what are the benefits that you get when you upgrade to Google Workspace. And then last but not least, I'll start a bit about telling you about the policy. So what are the rules when moving to Google Workspace? What are your benefits and your options for pricing and together using a partner like Cloud AZ, for example. So let me just have a look here. Also, since my presentation is going to be in English, if you would like to have the captions on, there's a little button in the right here where you can put on subtitles and put on captions. So maybe then it will be easier. I'm also not an English native speaker, so my accent may not be the best. So please bear with me. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the Google chat box. Happy to take your questions. And without that, let's get started. But I want to make sure before we get started that people in this call are listening and also interacting with me. So I have a question for the audience, and please put your answer in the chat box if you know the answer. How many Google Workspace users do we have currently right now? Is that 2 million, 2.6 billion, or 3 billion? Put your answer in the chat box, please, if you know the answer. Okay, Tao, all right. Well, I guess you guys are lucky today because that's actually the correct answer. Yeah, so we are very grateful to have hit 3 billion users already. And that's something that I'm going to talk about later on as well, because that's something that's really important for us. Because why is Google a good choice for you in terms of security, in terms of collaboration? That all relates to the 3 billion users that we have on Gmail. So I'll talk about that later. Thank you guys for answering the question. Good to know that you're listening. So let's continue. I'm going to start with an overview of Google Workspace. But before we go into Google Workspace, I want to tell you a little bit about why companies choose Google, right? Companies choose Google, whether it's Google Workspace, whether it's Google Cloud Platform, whether it's Google Ads, whether it's YouTube, whether it's on Maps or with Chrome. Companies choose Google because of mostly of these three things, right? One, they trust Google for its innovation leadership. All of our products bring something to the table. They always change the way that people, for example, with Workspace are collaborating and communicating, or the way that people are meeting, for example, Google Meet, or the way that companies are getting closer to their consumers. For example, with Google Ads, right? We have a lot of experience. Think about Google Maps, think about Google Ads, how we bring companies closer together with the customer. That's number two. And number three, if you look at any industry, whether it's in retail, whether it's in transportation, or whether it's in digital natives, every industry, mostly the leaders are choosing Google Cloud. Think about companies like a Netflix, Snapchat, Airbus, AirAsia, right? There's a lot of different type of industries, and a lot of interesting companies are looking at Google Cloud. So these are the three things that I always want to highlight before we talk about Google Workspace. And if you don't agree, or if you want to have a question, feel free to put it in the chat box. Happy to discuss with you. I'll talk about why companies are choosing Google Workspace. Yeah, so we did a research, and usually all users that are using Google Workspace, 86% of them tend to enjoy work a lot more compared to if they were using, for example, Office 365 or any of the other legacy platforms. This is mainly because it's just very simple to use, right? If you look at, for example, in Vietnam especially, the average age of the office worker is quite low. It's around 25 years old. So there's a lot of young people working in Vietnam, right? And young people tend to be used to working with Google a lot more than, for example, Outlook or any of the other legacy systems. The 3 billion users, right? We just hit 3 billion users. So there's a lot of people using Gmail. They know how to work with it. They know how to work with Google Drive. They know how to work with Google Docs, right? This is very simple for companies to adopt Google Workspace. And then last but not least, 95% reduction in risk of a data breach, which is very important, right? I think in every industry, it is very important to look at security right now, the most important subject in IT at the moment, right? Google Workspace helps protect your data very easily, not just because of the technology, but because of the scale of the data, right? The scale of the users that we have. Like I said, we have over 3 billion users in Google Workspace. Even the technology is very good in helping you keep your employees secure, but the scale really is something that's important here, because that really helps us spam and our phishing capabilities a lot better. It helps protect you a lot from that. Just simply because of the scale that we have, because we use machine learning models to protect our Google Workspace customers, right? That's just the benefit that we as Google have over any other platform. Also with Google Workspace, right, if you look into any of the universities, or if you go to any of your schools, or maybe you have some nephews, or you have kids working teenagers working in a university, what do you think they'll be using? Will they be working with Google Docs? Will they be working with Google Calendar and Gmail? Or will they be working with Outlook or any of the other legacy platforms? They are using Google as well, right? So those are your future employees. So that's also something really to consider, because a lot of companies who are looking to move to Google Workspace, they think of these things for the future, right? What does a future employee want? So this is just an overview of why companies usually choose Google Workspace. Obviously, there's a lot of different reasons, but these are the most common ones. Yes, I'll share this deck with the audience later. It's a good question. So you have all the reports and you can have a look at that. I'll share them together with Cloud AZ. What I want to say, right? We have over 3 billion users. Those 3 billion users on Google Workspace, but we have actually over 9 products that have over 1 billion users. And that's something that I like to call with the fancy word billion user elasticity. The reason why I say that is because you have your Chrome, your search, Drive, YouTube, Gmail, Play Store, Google Maps, Android, and Google Photos. All those products have over 1 billion users. And why is that important? Well, we use all of that user data to come up with the tools that people want to work with today and tomorrow, right? So that's, for example, Google Workspace. But also in terms of security, we can, because of YouTube, we can absorb really large-scale attacks, right? Because of our bandwidth on the YouTube network. It's just all of these different things together that really help us, sets us apart from our competition, and why you can rest assured that you can just let Google worry about the security, and you just can worry about doing your job or making things that make money for you, right? Let Google worry about the security. Let Google worry about the spam. Let Google worry about phishing, right? If you're in Google Workspace, you can have a peace of mind. That's just something that's important to our customers, and that I always want to highlight. So enough about the numbers. I want to talk about Google Workspace, right? So you've been a loyal user, right? You've been on the free edition, you went to G Suite, and now you're going to Google Workspace. We've had a lot of changes, right? And with Google Workspace, what we've done, we've put everything in one place. And what I really love about it is that you don't have to switch tabs anymore, right? Like you can have one tab open and there's everything, right? You have your email, your chat, your jump into a video meeting, create a document or just view a document, make an edit in a document, create tasks, and etc. Right? Everything together in one place without having to switch to a different tab or any other program. That is for me really important when I started using it. And I'll give you a few examples about that later, right? Let me just show a quick video which highlights Google Workspace all in one collaboration. Yes, so that's where we saw that you can have everything in one place, right? That's for me, that's I think is really valuable. Yes, I hope you all saw that. So what you see really, right? Like when you are using Google Workspace is that you can keep everything in one screen, right? That's really the big benefit here of combining all of the different products within G Suite. And that's what made Google Workspace, right? The collaboration experience for Google Workspace is really something that I really enjoy because, you know, it not only helps you do your work really fast, but for example, seeing everybody's picture larger. Also, jumping into a video call without having to switch to Google Meet or opening up a new tab really creates a kind of a situation where it looks like you're almost working in one room, right? That's something that we, of course, it's impossible to do, but we try to recreate that with Google Workspace a lot, right? That's why with Google Workspace, you also see the picture of someone if you're working together in a Google Doc, right? So you try to get that human experience a little bit more than only seeing user A or user B, right? Seeing names, seeing photos is something that I think Google Workspace does really well. The browser-based collaboration, right? That's also what sets us apart from the competition. There's no software, right? So you just need a browser to make it work. And that's really great because then it's not only a good choice for now, but also a good choice for the future. Because if you just need a browser to make it work, then it doesn't matter what kind of device your customers are using or your employees are using. Because if it's a Chrome device, an Apple MacBook, a Microsoft computer, a Tesla car, as long as it has a browser, you can always work in Google Workspace. And you're always on the same edition. So whatever device you want to use now or in the future, Google Workspace is a good choice for you, right? You never have to worry about the versioning or software that you need to install, which is really helpful for a lot of IT departments. If you look at Google Workspace beyond the features, if you look more at the technical perspective, right? You see it from here. This is what it looks like under the hood. You have, of course, all of your features and products here, but if you look in the top, in the bottom right, you can connect also different databases to Google Workspace. You bring the power of Google search into your company. So if you connect, for example, Salesforce or another CRM to your Google Workspace, you can search all of that data, right, with cloud search. It can be anything, well, different types of databases, but it just helps your employees get their information quicker, and you use the product that made Google great. What product made Google big? Search, right? So if you want to use search, you can use that with Google Workspace, right? If you use cloud search. So when you upgrade, you have the chance to look at this option as well. So that was the overview. I'm going to talk now a bit about the development from the free edition to Google Workspace. So I hope people are still paying attention. So this is question number 2, and I want to hear your answer. When do you think Gmail was launched? And put your answer in the chat box to see if you can win something if you have the right answer. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, it seems to be always the last one, right? So Gmail was indeed launched in 2004. The Google Apps free edition was launched in 2006. So before Gmail, before that we had Gmail only, and that was indeed 2004. So what you've earned is a big applause from me. And so good job. Thank you very much. I'll talk a bit about a little history, right? So after Gmail was launched in 2004, in 2006, we had the free legacy edition. So the free legacy edition that you were on was created in 2006, which is a long time in technology years, right? It's already been 16 years ago. So with that, in 2012, we stopped offering the free edition. So after 6 years, we stopped offering it, but people that still signed up for it were still able to use the free edition, like yourself, right? Then in 2016, we launched G Suite. That's also when I joined Google. So it's a very exciting time, right? We really adopted from Google Apps for Work to G Suite. And we added a lot of products. We added a lot of features and more storage, products like Google Sites, Google Forms, and that were made G Suite. After that, we had Google Workspace. In 2020, right before or during the pandemic, no, it was before the pandemic, we announced Google Workspace. And that's where we put everything actually in one place, right? We added a lot of different features, a lot more storage again. We have over 8 different editions, right? From the Business Starter, Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Starter, Standard, and Plus. And then we included also AppSheet earlier this year. So that is when we had Google Workspace. And then now, here starting in August, we are going to end the free edition. So I just want to take you to a little bit of history so you can understand how Google Apps, G Suite, and now Google Workspace came to be. And you can see one of the reasons why we are moving everybody from the free edition to the paid edition. So talking about the policy, right? The G Suite Legacy Edition will no longer be available after June 27th. So for users that haven't transitioned yet, they will be automatically transitioned. And then you have the option to put in your billing IDs and then choose, for example, a partner, one of our Google trusted partners like CloudAZ, to help you make this a smooth transition and make it easy for you. Because when you make the move, you can benefit from a very high discount, because you as a legacy user really can have the highest discount in the history of Google. And Google CloudAZ, one of our partners, can help you extend that discount for up to 3 years. So it's really a unique opportunity for you to benefit from a high discount plan for a longer term on any of the editions, right? It doesn't have to be the Business Starter edition. It can be any of the editions. So we're happy to help you through this and see what your options are here. If you move from the legacy edition that you have now to Google Workspace Business Starter, what will you get? You will get double the storage. You go from 15 gigabytes to 30 gigabytes. You can have external collaboration. For example, if you work with a vendor or a contractor or any other domain that you work very closely with, You can whitelist that domain and you can collaborate with them, give them access to your Google Drive, give them access into any of your collaboration platforms, right? You have mobile device management, so you can, for example, enforce strong passwords to your employees. You can say, you can manage different devices, right? You can say that you want, for example, user dashboards that all of your employees are using very strong passwords. Or if you have, for example, if you have a user that always logs in from Vietnam, and suddenly they log in from Bangladesh on Sunday at 3 o'clock at night. That is suspicious behavior, right? Maybe that device is stolen. So those mobile device management dashboards will give you the admin a notification that this is suspicious behavior. Do you want to remotely wipe that device? So it gives you more control, right? So you have more audit logs and more insight into your user behavior, and protect your data also for longer. So you can also set the retention of your you want to auto delete your Gmail or chat history after 30 days or 6 months, right? You can also do that. On top of that, you have 24/7 Google support. And if you go with Cloud AZ, you have next to that also local support. You can have local billing, for example. A lot more flexibility there. So that is just the benefits when you move to the lowest edition, the Business Starter. I recommend you, because you have a high discount, right? You can get the same big discount also on any of the other editions. So for example, Business Standard, which I think in your situation is the best option, because then you not only get double the storage, you get the storage times 133, because you get 2 terabytes per user, and it's a pooled storage. So that means that if you have 100 user, you get 200 terabytes, right? That is a pooled storage. So if you have some users that use Google Drive a lot, for example, your marketing team, they can have more than 2 terabyte storage per user. Because if your sales team only uses email, and that's maybe still 30 gigabytes, then automatically their storage will go to the people who need it. And that is what pooled storage means. So pooled storage is very important, because you may think about, if you have Google Workspace, maybe you have Dropbox, maybe you have an on-premise server, maybe you have other cloud storage, right? You can get rid of that when you move to Business Standard, because then you have a lot more storage, and you can get rid of Dropbox. You can get rid of an on-premise server that you have, or a OneDrive, right? Helps you save money if you do it that way. So you can also have larger meetings, up to 150 people. So it's really good to, for example, have meetings like this, where you can have webinars, or maybe an all hands internally for your company. You have enhanced collaboration, because also Google Chat now is then for external users. So not just using Google Chat for internal communication, but also now you can use it to talk with your customers, right? Or your partners. Like that's how I, for example, communicate with Cloud AZ, for example, right? So that external collaboration becomes a lot better. And advanced security, so your dashboards will have, for example, that you can set custom rules, so that if, for example, that if you have a document can only be deleted by C-level and not employee level. You can create organizational units, for example, marketing team, sales team, IT team, and only the IT team can delete files, right? And the marketing team can view files, right? You can set it up more customized. So that's the benefits that you get from moving to Business Standard. I'm not going to go over all the editions, but if you're interested in the Enterprise edition, I'm happy to tell you in detail a lot more about that. But we can do that in a later stage. I just want to summarize here the benefits that you will have when you move to Google Workspace from the free edition. In summary, 1, double the storage or a lot more, right? You have support. So should you want to customize your Google Workspace, change the logo, any issue that you might have, you have 24/7 support, right? We guarantee the 99.9 uptime for you. That's also not important, right? The premium security and collaboration features that you will get with Google Chat, whether it's a mobile device management, which is easy for your IT department, because you can easily enroll devices, or if people working from home, their computer is broken, they want to use their personal device, you can easily enroll that into your mobile device management here in Google Workspace. Very generous discounts. I think the discounts have been communicated already to you. If not, ask Cloud AZ and we will communicate them right away to you. But the discounts are available for up to 3 years. And Cloud AZ can tell you a lot more about that. I'll talk one little thing about AppSheet. So with AppSheet, right? AppSheet is something that's really popular right now, because AppSheet is something that you can really create easily applications with, right? From without having to write any code. A few examples can be, maybe you have maybe your employees want to come back to the office, right? And moving from working from home back into the office, right? Creating a simple application for booking a desk in your office, for example. That's a quick example, but it can also be something simple as that you want to have a check-in list when you are, for example, a retail company. If you're a retail company, you can make a front desk setup application, right? It's a combination of Google Sheets, forms, and an email. Once the setup has been completed, you can receive an email, for example, on that. A lot of different applications can be made with AppSheet. So if you're interested in this, it's included for free in the Enterprise Edition, or available as an add-on, right? So if you want to learn more about this, ask me or Cloud AZ, and we'll give you a demo maybe that is very relevant for your company and your work processes. So I'll end with how Google Workspace can help your business. These are very significant numbers, right? If there's one thing that you can remember from my presentation, let it be this: happy employees are more productive. Think about the number 68%, right? They tend to enjoy their work a lot more when they are using Google Workspace. Innovative companies have a 75% stronger profit growth. So if that's also something to keep in mind when you compare to our competitors, for example, Microsoft 365. And last but not least, your workforce of tomorrow is using Google Workspace. All right, so Google Workspace is a good choice for you to invest in when you're looking at it now, but also at the future. Then what I've just showed you about the different features, right? Google Workspace also really help you save a lot of time, whether it's auto compose, which is helping you save time a few seconds on an email, or finding all the right information for you in one place, or giving you suggestions, or smart in Google Sheets, right? For example, if you work with Google Sheets, it can give you suggestions on how to create easily tabs and formats, or connecting that to a Google slide. All in all, it helps you about saving 171 hours per month, per year, per employee. So basically, if you're in Google Workspace, you can let your employees work 13 months in 1 year, right? So that's also very helpful, right? That time saved, and we all know time is money. So that's something that's really good to highlight. Also, your on-demand tech support on average will decrease by 20%. So think of people working from home, losing their computer, needing to enroll a new device, right? It's very easy setup from the Google Admin Console. So it will help your IT department not spend a lot of time on IT internal tickets. All in all, it will drive a 331 ROI on average on a period of 3 years. So that high discount is really helpful here, right? That's even more for you guys because this is calculated on the list price. So that is my piece about Google Workspace. We have customers in every industry. So if you want to learn more about what all some of these customers are doing, let me know. So with that said, thank you very much for your attention. I hope that was helpful. And let me know if you have any questions either now or later during the webinar, I'm happy to take them. And with that, I'll pass it back to Min. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Marley, for your sharing. It's very informative and can help everyone here understand clearly the development of the district legacy burden and its policy.
Okay, Marley. So we see that in the box chart. So the audience have some question for you. The first question is about the current strategies workspace versus Microsoft 365 impact on business. So do you have this report or link in some case? Some customer want switch to workspace from Microsoft 365.
Yeah, absolutely. So happy to share that. I'll share that with you guys later, so you can share it with everyone here in the webinar. There's also something else. There's an online link, which is it's called the business value calculator, and you have to. It's based on this report. So you can just simply put in, for example, how many employees do you have, what systems do you use, and then it will help you based on that report what kind of ROI you will have if you switch from Office 365 to Google Workspace. I will share it with you later on as well. I see also there's a question from Tanti. I'm using G Suite example after 1 month trial. If I do nothing with my account, what will happen? Then you will be suspended. So if you are after the trial ends, the suspension will end. So I really recommend to fix your billing together with Cloud Easy or with us before that trial ends, because we don't want to have you suspended, of course. Hope that answers the question. And then for the last question, maybe you can help me translate.
Okay, this just inform from clarity, so it's not a question. So
okay.
So I think that that two question is enough. So if you have any questions, so please post on the box chat so we can prepare and answer the detail for you. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marley. How you can answer the other question in the Q&A section, okay? Dạ vâng, thì cảm ơn những lời chia sẻ hết sức hữu ích và đầy đủ của Mr. Marley. Thì hy vọng nhờ những lời chia sẻ đó và có thể giúp quý vị và quý anh chị có thể hiểu rõ được quá trình phát triển của bộ công cụ và chính sách mới về phiên bản G Suite Legacy.